States to the contrary.
Like, Benjamin Netanyahu is not on Fox News, but on Dana Bash, CNN, ZNN. Okay? And what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing on ZNN is directing American foreign policy, and specifically American foreign policy that pertains to NATO, while addressing a NATO country that's currently holding the NATO talks as a direct adversary to their interests. Think about how insane this is. Think about how fucking insane this is. Like, this is not weird. This is not a weird situation at all. We got a foreign country that's dictating American foreign policy on the liberal network, the supposedly liberal network, CNN. And this foreign country that is supposedly a sovereign nation that relies on us and our tax dollars and our political cover to do the violent things that it's doing with no scrutiny whatsoever, gets to now dictate American foreign policy around an American ally that is a part of an American security partnership, which I don't like, for the record, just so you guys understand my position on this versus my analysis. I know a lot of people mistake the two sometimes, okay? He's saying a country with American nukes that is hosting the American NATO conference right now is bad, and America should reconsider giving that country F-35 fighter jets. What is this? This was your brief mention in the Politico video?
Line partner should drop out of the race. I'm withdrawing my endorsement. Hassan Piker, the very well-known Twitch streamer, described it as curtains for Platner's candidacy. And looking, I think, specifically at your corroborative work, said, you know, I believe this allegation based on the work that you do. It feels like at the time of recording this, there's really no way back for Graham Platner's campaign here.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. All right, anyway. Once again, Hassan is talking about the most moral nation in such a negative way. Yes. Yes, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, I know. This is the most moral nation. There's no other way to do it.
It's a regime that's infected with the Muslim Brotherhood, which hates the United States. He harbors Hamas, the Hamas terrorists. He supports them. He finances them. He's thrown his opponents in jail, all of them. He throws more journalists in jail than anyone can understand. So he's not exactly a model ally of the United States. But even worse than that, he threatens Greece, a NATO ally. He occupies half of Cyprus, another NATO country. And the most important thing, and I put it right on the table, he threatens to destroy my country, the one and only Jewish state. Is number two.
Yeah. Can you believe it, Dana? Can you believe it? The country that currently maintains an oil and gas pipeline that is responsible for 80% of my country, Israel's energy needs, actually wants to destroy Israel. Can you imagine, Dana? The horror. First of all, if that was the fucking case, he could just literally tweak the faucet, okay? He could just go burp, 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 and shut off the oil and gas pipeline from Azerbaijan to Israel. Okay? What the fuck is this guy talking about? If Erdogan was Erdo Goat, okay, if he was a real one, that's what he would do.
Says that we have no place among the nations, and you know what that means. And his number three, the interior minister, says that he's looking forward to be the governor of Jerusalem. Hello?
But,
you know,
but
we're
Prime
a sovereign
Minister,
country.
Yeah, but Prime Minister, the president said this morning
and we tend to stay independent.
President said this morning that they are...
Does Israel want to be in NATO? Fuck no. That would require them to even give troop assurances to any other country. And Israel is not doing that. Okay? Are you fucking kidding me? Pff, Israel joining NATO. Great. Yeah, Israel trying to act like it's more of a NATO than a founding NATO member? Yes. Israel is more NATO now than America. Okay?
Great friends, and not just the two of them, the countries of the United States and Turkey, and that Turkey is perhaps a better ally than other so-called allies. So he is considering giving the country these planes, F-35s.
Well, as I said, it would destroy the power balance in the Middle East because Turkey, I think, has aggressive aspirations. I mean, they openly say that. They want to restore.
Wait, you don't say. You don't say. Turkey has aggressive aspirations in the Middle East. Dude, literally any other country leader says this, and there is a valid point, okay? Any other country. Fuck it. Iran says this, and I'm like, okay, not wrong. Israel is the one country that doesn't get to make that argument. Okay? You are the one country that does not get to make this argument. Oh, Turkey is far too belligerent and far too aggressive in its aspirations in the Middle East. That's incredible, dude.
The Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire not only included Turkey, it included many other countries, included Syria, it included pieces of Jordan, included all of present-day Israel, included some...
Yeah, Palestine. Say it. That's what it was called. It was called Palestine, motherfucker.
Gulf countries. So this is not a force for peace and stability. And if you give this kind of radical regime that admittedly smiles to America when it is necessary, or smiles to the president of the United States when it's necessary, when you give him that power, you're going to see aggression in its wake. I wouldn't do that.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, the conversation that the president is having with Turkey today is just the latest in moves that he has made that are not making you happy. He obviously imposed ceasefires in Gaza, in Lebanon, on Iran. He made you turn fighters back from attacking Iran last summer. He's told you what you can and can't do in Hezbollah.
You know how I sometimes say, like, American neo-Nazis that are anti-Semitic and present themselves as anti-Israel kind of come across as jealous? It's like projection where they're like, oh, why do Jews get to do this? Like, why do they get to have an ethno-state? Like, why can't we have a fascist white Christian ethno-state here in the United States of America? Like, that's what it comes across as when Benjamin Netanyahu goes on CNN and is like, Turkey is a very dangerous force, a very belligerent force in the region, unlike me, unlike Israel. And it's like, and Turkey does present a destabilizing factor at the behest of American investment and at the behest of American interests in the region, as it's, done time and time again. However, Turkey also has its own regional ambitions, right? Erdogan, one of his only qualities that even his critics will at least recognize as sound, because they also operate out of a nationalistic framework. That is the fact that he has maneuvered around the regional ambitions of Turkey and has been able to utilize the leverage that it gains against Europe over and over again, the leverage that it has with the United States of America over and over again. The problem from the Israeli perspective here is that is making Turkey an irreplaceable force in the region, and Israel doesn't like that. Israel doesn't like the competition that Turkey represents for America. The difference between Israel and Turkey, however, is that Turkey has the second largest. Turkey, one, has a massive defense industry, and that massive defense industry has actually played a major role in Ukraine, for example, with the Bayraktar drones. But then besides that, Turkey also has the second largest standing military in NATO. And Turkey deploys that standing military. Turkey also trains other troops as well, on top of deploying that military both in the region and potentially anywhere around the world. Israel doesn't have that. Israel does not have that ambition. Israel will never put Israeli troops in the line of fire if it's not something that is related to the greater Israel project. This is what makes Turkey a client state that is technically more valuable than Israel, which is precisely the reason why Benjamin Netanyahu is chirping here. Okay?
Who is calling the shots for Israel?
I think there's a wide misperception of everything you said, because a lot of these things, some of them were not true, and some of them were agreed in advance. And some of it, yes, we had occasional disagreements. Look, he is the president of the United States. He does what is good for the United States. I'm the prime minister of Israel. I do what is important for what is good for Israel. And most of the time, these things are identical. I have to commend the president. He brought a huge American force to counter our common enemy, which is Iran, that chants death to Israel, death to America. Had they developed nuclear weapons, if we hadn't acted, they would have them already. They would eventually use them against America, not only against Israel. So on the big things, we see eye to eye, and occasionally we don't, but we're true allies. They call us, the National Security Council issued a memorandum a few months ago. They called Israel the model ally. And I can tell you...
Oh. Okay, never mind then. My mistake. My mistake, Big Yahoo. Okay, then if they said so. Shit, my bad, bro. Oh, this entire time I was thinking all Israel does is take, and then fucking draw America into conflicts that, you know, they're obviously not totally against, right? But have devastating outcomes for Americans and the region, and you know, broadly the rest of the world. This energy crisis that took place, directed by Israel's own personal investment in destroying and destabilizing Iran, a nation with thousands of years of culture and history and 93 million people. You know, all of that, my mistake. I thought all of that was actually at odds with any sort of greater American project. It turns out I was wrong, because, you know, they said the National Security Council issued a memorandum. The National Security Council issued a memorandum, Dana. Don't you understand? The National Security Council issued a memorandum that said Israel number one. Fuck. Yeah, you would be dead wrong. Never think that again. Exactly. It's cool though. It's cool. It's wonderful. I love to see the truth get mentioned on CNN. Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Thank you for clarifying.
A memorandum a few...
My mom said I'm the most handsomest boy.
Months ago, they called Israel the model ally. And I can tell you that even allies can have their differences, but I think America has no greater ally in the world than Israel, and Israel has no greater ally than the United States. Yeah. And I say that with complete recognition of the fact that we sometimes see things a bit differently. It's natural. You're a big country, you're far away. We're a small country, beleaguered and close to these regimes that want to destroy us.
I want to talk specifically about Iran for a moment, sir. President Trump said the memorandum of understanding with Iran is probably an unconditional.
There's something really funny about Benjamin Netanyahu's two competing interests every time he does a non-contentious interview like this one that might offer slight criticism coming from the base, Americans broadly, or maybe even at times like J.D. Vance, right? On the one hand, he has to sit there and be the reliable puppy, right? The attack dog turned into a puppy because he's on American television. He has to present himself a certain way. But also on the other hand, he is chock full of supremacist values. And therefore, he wants to say what he truly thinks, which is, how dare you ask me such a fucking question? I am the most important figure in American politics. Israel is the most important country on the planet. And you kind of see the cogs turning in his head whenever they ask him a question where Like they'll be like, so what do you think about JD Vance saying that the rest of the world has actually dropped their support for Israel? And he has to just sit there and be like, well, India supports us. What do you have to say to that? India's a big country.
Surrender, but the specific question is, under this MOU, the United States terminates all types of sanctions against Iran. Is this a failure for your country, for Israel?
Look, I think it's too early to say what will happen. The president believes that he can stop Iran's nuclear program, which is a nuclear program to create atomic bombs. He believes that he can do this through negotiations.
Do you?
And various pressures. Look, I have my doubts, but I think he should be given the chance, and he's, trying to achieve that.
It's funny to see him like being forced into the cuck chair, even for a little bit, even if it's like symbolic, even if this is beneficial for him, right? Because look, I don't think that these guys are interviewing him and making him sit on the cuck chair because they genuinely think it's his time to sit on the cuck chair because he deserves it. I think it's more so it looks better for the American audience if he just kind of sits there and takes a bruising, right? Like, I think that's the highest priority here. This is a part of the propaganda machine that's still trying to launder Israel's reputation. It's a face-saving operation, right? This is not an about-face. This is a face-saving operation. And it's very, very funny that even then he can't do the fucking damage control theatrics necessary. He can't sit there like a good boy and be like, you're right. Trump is the guy. He's right.
It remains to be seen. But I have said, and by the way, I think President Trump has said too, that deal or no deal, I certainly will not let Iran have nuclear weapons. And that is also the president's position.
In 2015, I was there. I remember that you came to the U.S. and spoke to Congress over the objection of President Obama because of your opposition to that Iran deal, the JCPOA. You specifically mentioned the deal's sanction relief in that speech. What's different about now?
I think Iran, look, our combined action, the U.S. and Israeli action today destroyed, I think the lowest estimates are $400 billion of the regime's infrastructure. And some say as much as $750 billion or even $1 trillion. So I think what is being discussed now are very small numbers. Admittedly, any number is a high number as far as countries like Israel and others see it. But it is not. It's not going to allow Iran to reestablish itself. The question remains: at the end of the negotiations, if there's a deal struck, then you have to see, does the deal actually meet the main goals? The most important one being ending Iran's nuclear program, taking out the enriched material, dismantling the enrichment sites. And there are other things that have to do with proxy warfare and ballistic missiles. If it achieves that, then yes, Iran will get sanctions relief, and that would help the regime resuscitate itself. But I don't see that happening yet. And I hope that the president will do exactly as he promised to do, to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapons program.
The issue of supporting Israel as a Jewish state and just U.S. support for Israel overall, they have become a central issue in American politics, really a litmus test right now in Democratic primaries here in the U.S. I want you to listen to how the mayor of New York City responded when he was asked if he supports Israel as a Jewish state.
I've said time and again that I support.
Oh, shit. Oh, brother. Well, I guess it's important to ask the real president about the only country that matters. The perspective of the fake and phony mayor of New York City. Who gives a shit? You know? You got to hear Big Yahoo's take on this, right? I mean, come on now. You got to hear what Big Yahoo has to say about, ew, Zoran. I can't wait to see what his face looks like.
the state of Israel as a state with equal rights. I believe.
Yeah, they're ratting out a fellow American. This is true. No, literally. Dana's like, Big Yahoo, get in here. I hate this guy. What do you think about him? Look at how anti-Semitic he truly is. Get in there, Big Yahoo.
That any state that
But as a
preferences,
Jewish state is the question.
I think any state that privileges one religion over the other is one that I can't tell you I support, whether it be Israel or Saudi Arabia or anywhere else. And a lot of that comes back to a fundamental belief that we should all be considered equal. No.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna tell you what he's gonna say. Oh, we don't privilege Jewish people over the 2 million Palestinian, or no, he won't say Palestinians. 2 million Arabs. Pejorative. Okay. And that what about the 50 Muslim supremacist states that exist right now, except for little old Israel? Israel is a small nation, a tiny nation. Israel has an Arab, pejorative, on the Supreme Court.
Matter what our faith is.
Your response?
Well, he conveniently forgets that the only democracy in the Middle East is Israel.
Ah, damn it, I forgot the only democracy in the Middle East. How could I have forgotten? How could I have forgotten the most important? The most important. I said tiny nation, but I forgot. I forgot the most important democracy.
20% of our citizens are, in fact, Muslims. They're not Arabs, but they sit on the Supreme Court. They're in the Knesset, our parliament. They share every walk of life. That's the only place in the Middle East where you actually have this equality that he's talking about. But he has supported, or his supporters have supported Hamas, these people who murder people, who beheaded our men, who raped our women, and then murdered them. Burned babies alive and so on. He said, the river to the sea, he supports them. This is not mere cynicism. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. There are.
Wait, is he saying? Uh-oh. He's saying Zohar Mamdani is Hamas. Uh-oh. Oh, brother. Big Yahoo's flustered right now. I mean, he is pissed. Yeah, you would think that any reputable journalist would be embarrassed to give this man airtime to blatantly lie to their audience, but I guess Dana Bash on CNN is okay with it. Yes, I'm going to be tuning into the Abdul Stevens debate, yes.
Are always imperfect democracies. Israel is an imperfect democracy. The United States is an imperfect democracy. Why? Because we live in the real world. But it's 100 times better than these dictatorships and these horrible tyrannies that.
Dana, don't you understand? We democratically decided to do genocide to the Palestinians. Puh. These Arabs, they don't know how to do democracy. We are taming. We are civilizing the barbarians, Dana.
Mamdani and his supporters support. So yeah, I stand completely with the Jewish state, the democratic Jewish state that fights for its life, but we also protect so many.
Notice how he didn't. Okay, to be fair, he did say like, "Oh, Supreme Court Arab, so many Arabs, Muslims, disgusting. Live in Israel. We let them live there for now." But he didn't even address the whole like Jewish state that privileges Jews, or a Jewish ethno state.
Others by fighting these barbarians who have no qualms whatsoever to murdering their own people and trying to terrorize everyone else.
Some American Jews in Congress who support Israel and support what you just said say that a lot of the actions by you and your government are making Jews in the United States unsafe. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, she's running for Senate in Michigan, said Benjamin Netanyahu has made us less safe. He has frankly put Jews in an uncomfortable position across the country. Have you?
Well, it's made her uncomfortable because she can't stand up for the truth. She's trying to probably excuse anti-Semitism. You know,
Haley Stevens is, one, not Jewish. Two, what gives? What gives? Bro, Haley Stevens is Hamas. Dude, look, I'm of two different minds here. On the one hand, I think this is a way to try to boost maybe Stevens' credibility as like an Israel critic in a race that I know they are paying close attention to. The idea that Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't know the like maiden name of Abdul's parents and the name of the dog that Abdul had when he was in 5th grade is ridiculous. He knows all of that shit, okay? The level of involvement that Israel has in American elections, especially one that is as pivotal, where there will be an Israel critic going to Senate, okay? They know everything. So on the one hand, I do feel like he's just maybe attacking her so that, because they know their unpopularity, so they can give like a little bit more credibility to Haley Stevens as a critic of Israel that's being supported by AIPAC for some reason. But the other reason why I feel like he just knocked this out of the chamber, okay, is because any sort of criticism that Benjamin Netanyahu hears from American Congress, whether it be a Democrat or a Republican, immediately has one speed. Okay? I think it could be one or the other. I think it could be either. And I'm kind of leaning on the side of the latter rather than the former. He might have just heard someone who has famously said, Israel comes to me in my dreams, and immediately go, how dare she criticize Israel? How dare she? How dare she criticize the greatest nation on the earth? How dare she? She is Hamas. She is Hamas. We will do away with all of our critics on American soil.
She's not. She's, I mean, I just want to explain. She's somebody who supports Israel. She supports funding Israel, which is diminishing big time among Democrats and even some Republicans in the United States Congress.
well, let me.
By the way,